got your back.
Facts.
Don't say what I say.
You know, not having a host is just. Y'all good? All right, but yeah, you know, not.
Yo, the start of every episode is always gonna be laughter. We gotta fix this one day.
Cause she looked at, I was trying to read what she was saying with her eyes. But go ahead.
Y'all think we can ever have an episode where the first 60 seconds isn't like pure laughter?
Welcome to Club Noir.
Oh yeah. How you doing?
And today we have a friend of ours.
Special guest.
Hello.
Look at that. Why, hello, young man. Who are you?
My name is Justin, and I am a graphic designer.
Oh.
And also, I'm also looking forward to being an entrepreneur in the foreseeing future.
Okay.
Yeah, you know we not
We like ambitions.
Word. Look, all I'm saying is y'all better check out his NFTs real soon.
That's all I'm
A
saying.
hint,
you
a
know?
hint, a hint. That's all. Just a hint.
You being a little too loud.
Oh, okay.
My bad. We move in sideways.
We moving. What?
Nah,
I don't even know.
Who's moving?
Well, yeah. So we got a topic today.
Oh yeah.
Justin.
Stop cooling, man.
Yes. Please introduce to the club.
Word.
So I was invited here, and the topic I would like to talk about is what exactly is a nice guy?
The collective. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's real.
Real.
I love this. I do. Let's get started.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about nice guys and nice guys.
You know, it's ain't such a thing as being too nice. You know, what even is a nice guy?
Word.
What is the bare minimum? You know, because personally, I find it funny how it's just like because finding flack for any person is pretty common nowadays, right?
Yeah, everybody
saying
got
like,
flaws.
okay, well, this dude is trash, men are trash. You know, it's pretty simple to understand what trash is. But what defines nice? You know, it's like
What's the good?
what's the good? And is it good or is it bare minimum? Do we congratulate bare minimum? Do we acknowledge it? What's the word? And is congratulations synonymous to acknowledging? So that's what you talk about.
Yeah, let's cause you
That was
touched on a
nice.
lot of topics.
Yeah, you
Word.
know.
A lot of touching.
What's up?
You know, Jimmy, start us up, bro.
Whew.
Anywho. All right, so basically, just go across the table real quick and talk about what do you think a nice guy is? How would you describe one?
So are we starting?
I don't want to go first.
Okay. I actually think you should go first.
I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, whenever I hear the phrase "nice guy," I think honest, considerate, respectful, maybe a little bit mature. It doesn't really need to fit in there, but hey. But sadly, I will hear doormat being connected to a nice guy, or weak, or mischievous. So I want to know where exactly this stems from.
Yes. I love the collective ones. I just that's it.
I mean, honestly,
That's in depth.
personally, I don't really see a reason to call someone a nice guy because I feel like if you are those qualities, you're a human being. Like I feel like that's just like the standard for everyone, right? I feel like some people can experience nice things, which is then, in my opinion, a step above their bare minimum, which is respect, caring, consideration. Not so much as like saying like going out of your way. Depending upon the person, I hope you are being nice to that person, right? I don't think that's like I think that's a conditional, in my opinion. You're doing this because that's your friend. You should care for your friends. You're a nice friend, I don't really see it as like being a nice guy. I find it kind of funny how people portray certain things, and then even with the nice guy thing you said about the doormat, you can't have both qualities. You can't be considerate, compassionate, and also what's the word? Establishing boundaries.
It's
Where
like,
you having some like self-respect.
I'm sorry. Having self-respect. It's like, why is it mutually exclusive?
Where it's like people maybe talk to you like an all or nothing thing. Just like, oh, you're willing to do one thing for me, you must hate yourself. It's like, we ain't gotta go that far. You know what I'm saying?
I all in all kind of just feel like it's just rare, Like, not that there aren't nice guys in the world, I just haven't met a whole lot. Like I can say like for this table, yes, you guys are definitely nice. I wouldn't label you as nice guys because I feel like you said, those are the qualities you should come with. Like being a gentleman shouldn't be like, he's a nice guy. It's like he's just a gentleman. Like, he's just being respectful, which I feel like a lot more men need to learn, honestly.
Thoughts, Sheria?
My mind just went blank. Okay, so a nice guy, I feel like I agree with what all of you guys said about what it should be, that just should be somebody being a good person. But a nice guy, I guess, in conversations that I have with other people or maybe my friends, typically, okay, like if one of my friends are like, oh, I just want a nice guy. What that means is essentially like the type of guy that you guys describe that has like all of these, that has all of these like amazing qualities. So,
I'm sorry, y'all. We have some
10 seconds.
We have some
Club goers.
some club goers. By club goers, let's enter club goers now, right? People who come into the space where we film and just handle other businesses.
Yeah.
So we just gonna
they were like,
do a quick check-in, see if it's quiet before we let Sheria continue, because I don't want anyone cut off right now.
okay.
I
Cool.
think it sounds good.
So when typically my friends or other women, I hear them say they want a nice guy, there typically isn't like a negative undertone between it. It's just like their ideal man that they want to be with. But I think it's really, they're speaking towards like kindness and compassion. That's specifically when they say that, oh, I want a nice guy, that's what it means. Yeah, I think the negative connotation that I've received is being on the other end of nice guys, but I never really hear people have conversations about, oh, he's not really that nice. Not really. Yeah. But I've seen like a lot of guys that are nice, but
So, on your perception of it, basically you get the reverse of what a nice guy is. So, like I said, honesty, respect.
yes.
Instead, it's disrespect, lying.
You know what it is? It's just like that behavior. I think. All right, let's get into it. I only have one specific example in mind. Y'all make it seem like I'm a name drop.
Does that mean story time? Story time? We gotta get ready.
No, you gotta get ready.
Get your blanket.
Good.
Y'all
good
are extra.
Get the popcorn.
So there was this guy that I was friends with for a minute, and he expressed that he was interested, and I expressed, I just wasn't interested in being in a relationship. And he continued to pursue me, but it was just all under the premise of like he liked me, but he was very respectful about it. Me, I had an issue with that because that's you crossing the boundary. Because if I say I'm not interested, I'm not flattered by you pursuing me, no matter how respectful or polite or much of a gentleman you're being while you're doing it. You're doing something that I don't want you to do. So, and I think for a long time, just me trying to be understanding, I kind of let it slide. But that's an example of like a nice guy. Even so much so that when I started dating someone, he said to me like, oh, I just thought that, mind you, completely platonic relationship. We've had like, I'm someone who like clarifies. There was even a point in time where I stopped speaking to him because I'm like, how some girls kind of have men around them that like them for like the extra attention and stuff like that, and I didn't want to feel it. Even though I made it explicitly clear that I wasn't interested, I just didn't like the vibe because he just wasn't getting it. So I was like, okay, we just can't really be around each other like that.
Yeah, just create the space.
So when I started seeing someone, he really said to me like, oh, I just thought that when you were ready to date that it would be me.
It's like I was ready, just not with it. Like it just wasn't you.
So basically, because he thought he was being nice to you, he thought he was obligated to you.
Or essentially the friendship that we were building, to him, yes, it was kind of like the building blocks of a relationship
Like
when I was ready, even though I explicitly said no.
And I find it very interesting because my biggest issue, I don't want to generalize, but from my experience, self-proclaimed nice guys aren't really nice. They're being manipulative and oftentimes condescending to get cheats.
Let's really get into it.
Because like all my friends, respectfully, like the guys that I know here, as well as you know a few of y'all in the audience. Shout out to y'all for pulling up and tuning in. But yeah, like we don't do them things. We don't do them
We
things.
don't do those things. But no, that's such facts. Because like I feel like a lot of people have to understand that like I think one of the principle of like being nice, compassionate, honesty, pretty much all the claims that, you know, you made associated with that, great definition by the way, is that it has to be purely done from the goodness of your heart and not just because you want to seek an extra incentive. Because that point, you're only acting nice on a condition that you want something, right? So and it's just like people want to act like this is this foreign concept when they get called out, but it's like, yo, same thing like let's say coworkers or bosses, you know, we put on that smile. I know everybody know about code switching and stuff. You know, you're gonna act a certain more polite. Yeah, you're gonna perform so you can, you know, end up receiving something. And it's just like, at the end of the day, that's not gonna be it's not what you're gonna want for the basis of any solid friendship or like, you know, non-platonic relationship. And I think that's where there's a huge, you know, disconnect with like the labels. And that's why I even started by saying like nice guys and nice guys. You know what I'm saying? Because like they'll be like, oh, you know, I'm gonna do this for this girl. I'm gonna do that for this girl.
And then
For the
she's gonna do
cheeks.
this for me.
For the cheeks.
And it's like,
For the cheeks. But then no cheeks. Yeah, you can.
bro, she
I don't
using
care-
me.
I don't
she
care about
manipulating
you.
me.
She's horrible. I'm just like, horrible. Yo, respectfully, if you offer me a bag of chips and then you can't say, well, now pay me back for the chips. I'm like, you offered, right? It's just like so. It's just like there has to be a certain point where just like you should be able to say, hey, I just have a will to give, and not be like, it's 2:37 p.m. and I have not got a return on my investment. So what's the dealio? Like, yeah, because it ruins the whole thing. It ruins it all.
And honestly, that's like one of just the biggest problems because, respectfully, if you want that, there's people who give it for you. Like honestly, like
Right.
if you're intentional and you're honest, like my thing is this.
Intentional?
Right.
Right.
If you're intentional and you're honest, and she's telling you, oh, I'm not looking for this, for example, Sheria's case, why would you even want to waste more energy, waste more time to change your mind?
I am
That's
glad you
weird.
asked that question.
Especially when you can get people who be like, yo, if I'm nice to you, consider it. Can we date and can we, you know, become superficial? I'm more like if you can keep that energy and keep that intention and keep that honesty, you will find someone to match that energy.
Word.
I had yet to meet someone who didn't. I'm not saying you're gonna be on the first try, because who does? This isn't
Word.
like this isn't like a freaking what's the word? Unless you're the one of the luckiest people ever. It's a trial and error process with anything in life.
Word.
Right.
So
I feel like that's the crazy part also, because it's like, let's say you don't attend to them the way that they want you to, then it's like, oh well, I did this and I did that, and it's like nobody asked you to do that. Like I literally told you my intentions, you told me yours, they didn't mesh well, and it's not like, okay, I'm not ready to date, I'm not ready for a relationship. I don't want one with you. Like we're not on the same page, and I feel like that should be respected, and in most levels it's not. It's kind of like this is almost going on a tangent, like just a little bit.
no, you're good.
But it's kind of like being catcalled, right? Like women being catcalled. There were a lot of incidents where if a woman didn't give them the reaction they wanted, they reacted in like a negative manner. Or men tend to do that. Like, first of all, you address me as hey chocolate, hey red shirt. But you want me to turn around and be like, oh my god, hey, like you're talking to me, and it is like when you
I
don't
always
give,
wonder, how does that work? How does that work?
right? And
That's
then
the
it's
thing.
like,
It doesn't.
What is the best case
It
scenario?
literally works in a fantasy world.
Yo, I ain't never heard anybody say that it's ever worked. I've never heard any girl say like, yo, he just
I might
catcalled
have,
me in the
like,
street and it.
Hey, yo, Jimmy,
I just saw a certain
I
way.
just knew.
I just felt the vibe. Like, no,
how'd y'all
it
meet?
never happened.
Actually, so I was walking down around like midnight when I was like totally comfortable and safe in my body and secure, and it was at night, like at pitch black, and this random man walked at me all disheveled and was like, "Hey, yo, ma,
right?
get your number." And I was like, "Oh my god, here it is."
Here it is.
And
Christmas
now
early. Like, no,
there
this doesn't
are
happen.
women actually facing injuries for stuff like that because
Word.
they didn't give them the reaction they wanted. And it's just like, well, what did you think was like? What did you think you were doing? Like, what did you think was gonna happen? But that's no neither here nor there. But
So so it's like, and then the nice guys, like and then one problem that they insist. It's like you level them from.
They literally say
I don't
that.
experience nice guys.
No,
But
literally.
That's literally their favorite line.
No, I insist.
Like,
for the women,
Like,
I
I'm
insist.
resisting.
for my
Yes.
also the irony of it. I feel like me and Jimmy can attest to this. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's like for my my women friends, because they tell me stories. All I hear is like, yeah, this guy was like insisting, for like paying for my Uber, taking me home, buying me lunch. And respectfully, if I'm getting insisted to get free food, I'm gonna say yes too. So it's like, oh, why say yes? Why say yes then?
because he insisted.
I don't know if someone insists to you to give you free food. Personally, I like a free bacon, egg, and cheese every morning. Like, who gonna say no?
I mean,
Right.
I prefer balanced breakfast, but I understand the
That's what I'm saying, and it's especially if they're making that effort, and then to be like, oh, well, why don't you see me? If we are adults and we have, I would hope to think logical, cohesive brain synapses, you could then think, yo, I'm doing this for no reason.
It's some of them
If she
really
tells
talk
you-
to you every day, and you can say no every day, and it's just like, all right, just let him do it. Maybe he'll get over it.
And I feel
No.
I feel like either way, because like the example I gave, I was intentional in setting certain boundaries because I would not accept anything like this person. This is so funny. He's gonna see it. We're cool now, so it's cool. 'Cause there's no
I'd be
mutual.
like, shout out to
there's no
you.
mutual interest. You know what
I'm
I mean?
still
Like,
judging you.
no, we're dead cool. Like he's
He's
cool.
gonna be like, oh, this is about me.
No, he knows because we've had this conversation. But we're cool now. I've seen him like.
I just hope they didn't switch from you to another woman. That's all I'm hoping. Because a lot of people do that. They understand that it's a no from you, but no to
Learn
others.
your lesson.
But I digress.
Let me stop. Okay. So, y'all, please. Wait, what was I saying? You're fine. Oh, I set so many boundaries to the point that like a year went by, we would be like kind of communicating daily. I only saw him once in a year in person. Once.
it's not a lot of times.
It's not. That's the inside joke. Like I see him once a year, cause whatever. But I feel like people are gonna do what they want to do, and that's why I just feel like if I just get the sense, the hints, like I don't even want nothing from you that this is not a genuine friendship, cause it's like forget the bacon, egg, and cheese. Like why am I spending time with someone who truly isn't being my friend? You aren't respecting my boundaries. I find it like offensive. You know what I mean? Cause why do you want somebody who doesn't want you? There's a lot of things that has to do with that. But
Yeah, and honestly, that's why even sometimes like me and Richard was like, yo, like let's say somebody like shoots their shot at you, like create some like we kind of like create some type of distance because like even that even goes back to our social contract episode. It was just like, yo, having this talk beforehand, if you're willing to have the talk, right? Having the talk helps, right? Yeah, and it helps establish what page you're on or if y'all in the same book. And it's like, yo, if we're not in the same book and not even close on the same genre, it's not going to be on the same part of the bookshelf. Right? It's just not going to work together. It's not going to be organized, none of that. So it's just like, you kind of have to create some space so that people understand exactly where the boundaries are. Because like a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, he shot a shot, but we good. I'm just like, does he think that? Does he think y'all good? How good are you?
Another thing I want to also illuminate, which is another of my problem with these nice guys posting on social media. It's like, oh well, she had a problem. Why didn't she just tell me? A lot of people need to understand the risk of being a woman. For example, it's like when a man says something and it's like especially overbearing, your action can change her life for the rest of her life. The amount of power and the amount of risk of women they should have boundaries. Literally just saying no, thank you, and it just goes left. We see this on the news. We see it on social media. We see a plethora of just evil, malicious men who can't even handle a respectful boundary. In my opinion, polite. It's like more opinions. It's just bizarre. So it's like, oh, well, she said this. Are you genuinely allowing a space for her to critique and be comfortable?
Exactly, and many times it's not even because people like to be like, oh well, they reacted a certain way because the person embarrassed them or they were mad. It's like half the time it's just because they got rejected, and they can't handle it, and it's just like that shouldn't be the woman's burden
for some reason. Like I don't know why your ego is that fragile where a no will just set you off.
Exactly, and it's not even just like getting like
Half the time it
flustered.
isn't even a no. That's really crazy.
Half the time is I don't know you.
That too.
We can't go out. I don't know you.
You may be cute, but I don't know you. Like,
No, because
You're not gonna marry me.
Here's the
But
thing.
I don't know nothing about.
Here's the thing.
How
As-
dare you? And it's just like
It's like you like, especially people follow somebody and then you trying to go out with them.
Word. Like,
No, you no conversation.
Like, first
I'm
of all,
trying
I
to
don't
take
even
you
know
out.
your name.
Like,
Like,
I
what
feel
are
like
you
you just go
doing?
out with people.
and people don't even understand the intimidation fact and how it
That's
ends up like
very intimidating.
leading to like,
Yeah.
like yo, like they just like many women just won't want to be hurt, so they try not to really like go against the grain. Just people just
Right.
have no awareness of that when they're doing stuff like this. It's
honestly, respectfully, in this day and age, if you can have the audacity and the gall to shoot your shot and go for them, you're going to encounter these scenarios. So it's honestly respectfully, I'm not to call cap, and you're just absolving experiences from yourself. You're intentionally avoiding them because it's just weird how you don't know this, or how you aren't aware, or how you're so selfish. And then like
entitled.
Exactly.
Yes, that's the word.
Entitled.
Entitled.
Because they really feel like
That
they're
is the word.
owed something.
Yes.
Right.
And
Like,
that's
I'm
where
for
the
being
biggest
nice.
issue comes in. Exactly. Like, yo, I could give somebody, like, kind of like the bag of chips, like, I could give somebody a bag of Doritos and go about my day and not think about it. Because I'm not going to be here on the train going home. So I wonder what I can get from Doritos. Do you think, I wonder what I get back? Maybe some candy?
And
Can I have some
honestly,
candy?
the only thing you're owed is no disrespect. That's it.
Literally.
That's
And
it.
thank you.
Nothing more. That's
Just
literally it.
courtesy, just human courtesy.
Yeah. Just no disrespect. And now they're cursing you out. You don't deserve that. That's it. That's literally
Right.
it.
No, you're right, 'cause that's just
any
intentional,
negative.
unwarranted disrespect.
Exactly. You don't. That's the only thing you deserve. You do not deserve. Oh my god. Yeah, let's go out. Oh my god. Let's like no. And honestly, respectfully, if you're going to date, you're going to initiate, be comfortable with rejection. If you are not, you aren't ready for initiating with anyone. That's just fact. That's just a literal fact.
Or at least find a space where you are comfortable interacting, because like most people aren't going to be comfortable like going to the club or stuff like that. So I would just say like, I know a lot of people say get out of your comfort zone, but sometimes your comfort zone does help you.
Yeah, because it helps you, feel like you're in some type of control, and that kind of lessens, like crazy reactions. Because a lot of times people like, it can like, let's say like a public rejection, like, and it's just like, oh, now that because people are staring, and now you look, well, you kind of look bad because now everybody sees you in the mall because you proposed and the girl said no, and I was just like, yeah, sucks to be you, right? But if it's in a calmer, control sounds weird. But yeah, just a calmer, and it's more intimate type of setting instead of like everyone in the mall is looking at you.
Like, hey, you look very cute today. I want you to know if I get to know you, pause you over a cup of coffee.
Word.
Something like.
No, we don't
ask for
we don't do coffee.
anymore.
Well, I don't drink coffee, but yeah. I was just creating a scenario.
Maybe some chocolate milk, but,
Okay. All right.
or some mango juice.
Just next time, don't ask that Albaji place.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
but
what's the next question? I'm like intrigued to dive deeper.
oh yeah.
Sorry about that, y'all. Team Jimmy.
I'm about
Yeah,
to just
so-
stay quiet for 10 seconds. Like, that's what I was gonna do. Okay.
So real quick, I kind of wanted to, I guess, basically dive deeper and kind of like explore the, I guess the common trend where like a lot of, still best word, a lot of doo-doo head men nowadays, not even saying it's a lot or whatever, just saying like, there are some at the very least.
I think it's a lot.
And-
Too many.
Perfect.
Too many. Two doodle heads are too many doodle
I
heads.
think one.
One is too many.
Right? There are a lot of like doodoo head men that like justify their doodoo headery by saying, well, I was nice, but like I was constantly basically trampled over and disrespected and other stuff, and therefore I basically became a mean guy. And now that's somewhat yielding some type of results. What do y'all think about that? Because that's a pretty common story.
True.
I'm gonna have to call cap because respectfully, unless this specific woman has authority over you, and only thing I think in my scenario is with your mom. And honestly, I don't know who's dating your mom. Where it's like you have to see them every day because you live with them. But like, if you literally have the means and resources to do for yourself, why are you even going to continue to be around them? So So it's like you being nice, they're not being they're not reciprocating, and you're staying.
Oh no, but I'm saying like even if it's like a quantity of women though.
What do you mean?
As in like you're nice to like you're nice when you're saying, you know, when you're trying to like pursue certain like different women, and there's a quantity of cases where, you know, they basically try to use your niceness against you. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Because that's like literally a lot of these honestly villains out here on social media their villain origin story is, hey man, I was nice, I was disrespected, I was used for my money, I ain't get no cheeks, so now I'm about to be everybody's nightmare. And something they, not saying there's any causality or even a high correlation, but they claim that like now they have better success with dating.
And I find it funny because, like, what is success? Is success a genuine monogamous relationship, or is it just cheeks?
But even then, either of those options for many men would be a lot better than not.
Can I? Okay.
Giving your two cents, of course.
I feel like I don't want this to sound wrong.
1 second. I'm so sorry, Diamond. Can you please continue?
Yeah. I feel like there should be like a happy medium. Not that you should be an a-hole or a doo-doo head or anything like that to anybody, but if you see that you are not having success with one way, right? And you're having success with another, but it's not fruitful. It's kind of just like you're getting that. It's like, but is that what you really want? Because I feel like you're going to end up not being happy in the long run because now you're just settling for this because you decide to be a doo-doo head. But it's like if you have a happy medium, right? If you go about creating bonds and creating relationships without quote-unquote being too nice or being a doo-doo head, it's kind of like you're just being a human. Like, you're like, just be yourself, just be genuine. If somebody sees that as too nice, it's kind of like, okay, move on to the next person. But if you see that yourself, your qualities are too nice, like you see yourself doing a little too much that you don't have to do, stop doing those things. But you also don't have to be degrading to women just to get what you want, because in the long run, you're going to feel just as sad as you did in the first place because you're still not getting what you want. You're just settling for what you're getting. Like, create something that allows you to be like, okay, I can come off genuine, but I'm going to give just enough so that I can then create these healthy communications, healthy bonds, so on and so forth. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I feel like if it ever resorts to you feeling like derogatory means result in success of any kind of success that you determine what success is, personally, I disagree with whatever that success is. It's not success, and I think you should get some help, right?
I think you should get some help.
Serious evaluation on therapy or whatnot. I do, however, sympathize with if you are unlucky and meet a lot of women who are just trashing human beings, who are doodle heads and manipulate, then I'm sorry.
You need to change the group of people
really
you
bad luck
to.
in the dating scene. However, of course, it's easier than done. You know, when you are hurt, it's easier to feel hurt than be like, well,
Push it onto others. Yeah.
However, please seek help, honestly, genuinely, and really confront that, and honestly, and reevaluate your circumstances.
Right. I was one of those people. Obviously, I'm not a man, but when
Sorry, I'm thinking about the
We have our lovely guest today, Diamond.
Yes, you know,
is that better?
and she's a woman. You know, which one? She wanna clarify that, you know. So, yo, this show is jokes. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm messing with y'all. But
Which part?
like the whole thing about it's a woman. Oh, what? No.
Wow.
She is a woman. Okay.
Yes.
But this joke.
I indeed am a woman.
Sorry. I'm not laughing at that. Let's clarify.
I still don't like you for that. But
It was totally unintentional, as you all saw. That was a fluke, genuine.
no, but when it comes down to that, I can honestly say there's times where I've been too nice, you know, and it kind of led me to places where it was like, okay, you're getting rejected, you're getting what you want, and then you stop, and then it's like too. And then it's like I ended up getting hurt in the long run because I was giving too much of myself or more than they were used to. So it resulted in me being a doodle head. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just get what I want then. I'm going to just not be this way. I'm going to act like this because clearly you like when I'm more standoffish. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to get what I want. And it's like, okay, I got what I want now. Then it's like, this isn't satisfying. Like, I do a lot of things with my emotion. You know, I like to feel things. I like to connect to things. So it's like if I'm doing that with a person, I feel like that's the biggest thing you would want to create relations with, you know, stuff like that. I can't, my words are like jumping in my head, but it's like, yeah, like it would just it made more sense for me to have a happy medium. If I genuinely don't have an interest in someone, or they genuinely don't have an interest in me, move on. That's not the only person in the world, you know? But it's like it doesn't have to result to me being a doodle head or treating somebody bad just to get what I want, when there's literally somebody out there that'll do what I want without me having to ask, you know? And they'll accept me for exactly who I am and what I give them. So, and vice versa.
The happy medium thing is so important. I feel like people just like to operate on the polar extremes.
Yeah.
And so they'll be like, oh, I was trying to be her hero, but now I gotta be everybody's villain.
Have you on her hero, and now everyone else's villain.
Right, like, then you meet that person that is like, oh, I actually like you, but dang, you're a doodle head. Now you're trying to prove how much of a doodle head you're not, but they already seen you at first hand.
Yo.
So it's like,
I'm curious, what, if you're comfortable with sharing, what caused you to change into the more positive light, not optimistic?
I grew up. like I started to get into rooms with people who just thought differently or made me think differently, and it's like, for me, I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic, like I am. So it's like, I know exactly what I want, and if either spectrum is not making me happy because I'm going full drastic on one, but I'm not meeting it in the middle, it's like, okay, clearly something's not working. I know what does work and I know what doesn't work, but where can I find, like, you know, the intermediate? Like, what's the balance? What kind of balance can I create for me to genuinely be happy and attract the person that I want? So it just
So you're saying that
made sense.
changing your environment had a positive impact?
Changing my mindset. And in which spaces I talk to men. So yes.
Something I think about, since I'm talking about nice guys, because, you know, also, kind of like Richard said, being sympathetic and things that I've seen and noticed, people are taken advantage of. But a question that I would ask myself, and I would just want the nice guys to ask themselves is how much of your character is going to be dependent on the way that other people treat you. You didn't deserve that, but it's like, I get it why you don't want to be nice anymore, but I've definitely had situations where people have told me I'm too nice, but I just have a philosophy and belief in who I am, whether it was like romantic or mainly platonic, like with friendships that have ended. There's a certain level of love and care and attentiveness that I gave them, and it wasn't reciprocated, or I was betrayed or whatnot, and I don't feel robbed. I feel like I still cherish the good and genuine memories that we had, but it's like, dang, I'm sorry you just weren't able to appreciate that. But I know that I should be receiving that back. So you've been readjusted to the acquaintance, not even acquaintance,
right.
like, you know, you set a boundary and you move forward. So that's what I would suggest to someone who's a nice guy who feels like, oh, I gotta switch up now. I gotta act like, you know, deceitful or manipulative. And then also it's like, when did this happen? Because it really be like the 5th grade that people are referencing. When was this?
Like, his crayons too much.
Literally.
I mean,
and that don't change the pain. You know, you a little kid with big adult emotions.
No, I had a woman who dated someone in like a 5-year relationship. And I was like, yeah, 5-year relationship? She's like, yeah. I was like, we're 20.
Like, what?
You're judging people based on if you dated nice.
Like, first of all, you had play dates. Like,
Pretty much.
And if you didn't, and it was more serious, I'm even then more scared because why are you doing these things at a young
At
age?
a young age.
like, I don't think you can count only seeing them personally in after school as
Not after school.
And then saying, oh,
Y'all
this
walk to
one
the
man,
store
this is
together.
the one. Oh, this one woman. Oh,
No one treats me like her. You only know the people at the school.
I gave her half of my pizza on every Friday we had pizza Fridays in the cafeteria.
She can have
She
her
used
own
my
pizza.
school lunch.
Bro, she got 3 of my Welch's fruit stacks.
She got the last chocolate milk because I gave it to her. Now it's over for the rest of y'all.
Word.
There would
I
be
was out
more
here
chocolate
drinking
milk
regular
tomorrow.
milk for a whole year.
2%.
Or you could have just picked up 2 chocolate milks when it was time to go get them.
Right. Yeah, I
It
think
just goes back to you
ultimately
didn't have to.
that's what makes it questionable. Like you more than how awful that is, you just sound like an iffy person. You don't sound like you have a still or at least consistent character because you can't control how people treat you, but to a certain extent, you can control what you tolerate, and it doesn't mean you deserve poor treatment. There are people who are manipulative. There are people, men and women, who plot on people that they think are nice so that they can take advantage of. So there is that.
I've seen posts they be like, oh yeah, I got 5 men. I'm going out to eat every day of the week this week.
Word.
I got
Yo.
free food,
Yo,
free
like honestly,
ride,
seeing
vacation.
seeing like girls that would literally have people in the contact as breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Bro.
Probably the wildest thing I've
Bro,
ever
I
seen.
remember I
But
was-
I think,
I've
but
never-
and I think that plays a huge part in terms of like their incentives and then how they then react. Because respectfully, I think there would be a lot more villains if they knew their name and like knew what their contact name was in another person's phone.
I wasn't
First
saying
off,
I did
whether
that, by the way. I don't
first
do
off
that.
whether it's saved or not,
Best friend.
and then
best
second
friend
off what the
one,
name
two,
is.
three.
Word, because like imagine if you was called breakfast number 2 on somebody's phone. Honestly, I think if you turned to a villain, I'd be like,
I can understand.
I don't
Not
see
that I warrant it.
but yeah, I'm not even saying
Be
it's
like
good, but it's just
free-
like, you know
a
what?
free Uber, a free
I'm
gas.
not gonna act like this
think
came
you
out of nowhere because
Damn.
that's gonna prompt
Nah.
a certain villainhood. I think what makes it worse is that like many times a lot of people will like see it happening, but they won't call out the person using the person that is trying to just be nice.
People who be like,
You know?
oh, these 2 nice men, but they're having women in their circle who use and manipulate those 2 nice people. And it's like you're saying that this person is pretty much laughing at them for overextending their heart, but you're
Being
literally
complacent.
Being complacent.
Exactly.
Like I was like, and I remember talking to someone, and they had that epiphany, and they was like, oh, because I'm like, it's always a man versus woman thing. Why are we having this binary? But I digress. The public does what the public does, and she was like, oh, because men shouldn't distract women no matter what they experienced. And I was like, so we respectfully, do any of the women in your circle genuinely hate and use men? She's like, yeah, but it makes sense because they've been hurt before. I said, so you can pardon the hurt experiences of one person, but not pardon the other. I said, not say anyone should be pardoned. And then she was like, oh well, it's different. I said, why? Because there's hope for them. I said, wow.
I don't.
So there's hope. Just based on gender, not on character, just
Not a character.
gender. I was like, wow.
I don't know why there's such a justification for when someone is hurt. Like,
I mean, I understand it. I just personally don't like the double
no,
standards.
I understand you.
for
I understand
person
you
in
wanting to
mind.
get back.
Standards at all.
I understand you wanting to get back, and I understand you wanting someone to feel the same way you feel. But we all have heard the phrase, "An eye for an eye, the world goes blind."
Well, that's the thing. Not even heard that phrase.
Well, if you didn't, you heard it here first. But it's like it makes no sense to do something that was done to you just because out of ego, or you just wanting someone to feel your pain.
Yeah, I concur.
And
I think someone wants to know.
And
that,
I
but
feel like
my bad.
I feel like a way for I feel like
sorry.
I feel like for a way for nice guys, to avoid such a feeling where it's like my time was wasted, I was manipulated, whatever. I feel like you just gotta be fine with rejection, someone walking away, you walking away, and just having more self-respect in yourself. Because a lot of the things that people put up with, you're kind of demeaning yourself because you know you don't want to do this, or you don't want to deal with this issue because you're worth more than that.
That's huge. And
That's facts.
actually that's critical, right? Saying like, yo, you have to like properly gauge what you're willing to give and to who and why.
Exactly.
Because it's one thing if I say like, oh, let's say my mom may be tired after work, so I'm gonna decide to, be in charge of dinner because, I don't want my mom to, be tired and have to make dinner right after. Right? One different thing. It's then another thing if I say, I'm going to take up a 9 to 5 just to give it to some random woman I met on Instagram, just for the hope that I get, not even cheeks, but like a picture. And it's just like, all that labor, all that labor, and you gave it to this person that barely knows you, more than likely doesn't even like care that much about you because you haven't even established anything with them, and just for something so surface level, it's just like, like a lot of people, like a lot of these like self-proclaimed like nice guys, or even just like nice people in general who feel like many times like they get wronged from being nice. It's just like many times it stems from like them overextending when they don't really have to. Because the more that they then do that, is basically the more than they're saying, well, I keep doing this, and that then like kind of has the seeds of them saying like, okay, but now I'm starting to want, which for most relationships, platonic or non-platonic, is plausible. You're saying I'm putting a lot into this. At some point, I want some, right? And it's just like, all right. So therefore, understand a certain balance of what you're willing to give, especially based on what you're getting.
And I feel like, and I hate using this word,
Oh man.
but I do feel like people have to really juxtapose. So sorry, y'all. Juxtapose their work and advocacy towards that relationship opposed to themselves. Because I remember talking to someone and I was like, look, I genuinely love myself. Like, I really, really do. So I will never feel slighted or hurt if I do something and you don't reciprocate, because I know for a fact what I'm doing isn't out of bounds or at a huge expense, which I'm doing for myself. Like, I'm already their priority, so I'm secured, I'm insured. So like anything I do, and especially when it's the beginning, right? Of course, when we're like, I guess like married, I understand, doing a lot and like sacrifice yourself because it's higher stakes, and it's not even high stakes. I don't see it as high stake, but just more love there. It's more genuine. So I do understand it there. However, specifically about dating and two nice guys, I doubt they're being too nice being in a 5-year relationship. If they are, it's sad, but.
Wait, that's it? I don't think you should be saying that you're too nice in a committed relationship. That's how did you even get there?
Yeah, but back then it's like, so like people were like, oh wow, I never thought of it like that, and I was like, yeah, I think that's a good vetting process. Really evaluating, okay, the expense of what you're doing for someone else or the potential of something else, juxtaposed to what you're doing for yourself. Honestly,
Yeah, that's
if I'm not sleeping for one person just to be on the phone when I know I need sleep and I need to work a 9 to 5, sorry, you want to FaceTime me at that night? Well, it's going to decline. Like,
word. And as it rings, I'm just gonna laugh.
yeah,
And then resume whatever I'm doing.
As
Because you know my business hours.
but as opposed to one night, that's not no issue.
You know
but-
my business hours, yo. So I don't know why you hitting on my phone outside the hours.
And I think a lot of people need to really evaluate, okay, do I genuinely have self-respect for myself? What am I genuinely doing? Like you said, Sheria, like, be comfortable with yourself. I think that's very valuable to evaluate. What is my baseline of giving?
I think also setting boundaries for yourself, because I feel like it's natural to get really excited when you like someone and you may find yourself overcompensating when you didn't realize it, and the rejection is even more painful because you were overcompensating and you feel hurt, So that's why I'm trying to like, I understand that perspective. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of setting boundaries, and something I say, not something I say to myself, but in like more so when it comes to meeting people, like friends. A lot of times, like I'll meet someone, I meet a girl, I'm like, oh my gosh, we kick it off. I'll be so excited to be their friend, and it's like now we're hanging out a lot. When it's like, I can be, and I definitely am now, a bit more patient with getting to know people, because there's certain blind spots that you may have. And I think the same thing works towards like someone who's a nice guy that's interested in somebody romantically. Yeah, like even though you're excited, like feel the feels, you know, but don't just react on your impulse and your feelings. Like you should never feel ashamed for your feelings, but just analyze and reflect on your actions.
Because high key, that makes the entire difference between like a genuine like person that just happens to be like a good person, nice person, and what is known as a simp. Because literally, the core basis of what people call like simp is like, yo, you're overextending yourself, and you're getting like nothing, like absolutely nothing. It's just like at the end of the day, like it's pretty much free labor. You're literally like volunteering your life just for someone else's like validation, or just to be able to say like, oh, you got a hug or you got a kiss, but it's like most of the time they don't even get that. And it's just like, but you're doing so many things just for that hope, and you're literally saying like, all right, bet you can do whatever you want to me as long as there's even a chance on the table, maybe, that I can like get that type of access. And it's crazy because like you said, you have to have some type of like boundaries for yourself and what you're deciding. Yo, even if I think this person could be valid, it's like, all right, bet. There's certain lines I'm not gonna cross with them. You know what I'm saying?
And even then, if you can't do, once again, a lot of people struggle with this. If you are very, very, I guess, head over ears people, if you're a faller in love in 2 seconds, right? If that's you, make sure that I would hope to make sure that your baseline, you have people who hold you accountable and keep you in check, right? Like if you knowing that, respectfully,
friends during a vetting process.
That's what I'm saying. Like
keep on.
Me and Jimmy, like, not gonna hear too much, but yeah, like if we know how anyone in our circle is wilding, or even if I'm wilding, I'm like, yo, bro, Richard, you doing too much. Oh, Jimmy, you doing too much. Or so and so, you doing too much. And it's like, okay, call me, yo, why? Because what did you do for you? So you start thinking, being in reality for a little bit. So, genuinely build that circle as well, because I don't think we would all say it's easy to make friends than it is to find a relationship or a romantic partner. So it's like, especially when it's of the same sex. So being that just out of necessity. Like find that.
And I just want to say, comes to the vetting process, whether for me or my friends, I don't miss. That's all I'm saying. I do not miss. People can say I have very weird ways of how I go about it, but I don't miss. All I'm saying is, more than likely, if you like certain cereals, you're probably a good person. And if you like certain other cereals, I'm skeptical.
What is the cereal test?
I don't know. I kind of don't want this man Jimmy could go on a rant right now.
Can I really reveal the secrets right now? I don't think I can.
Not right now.
Tell us off camera. I want to know.
Not right now.
This conversation.
Maybe in the future.
If you want to tune into our Patreon, I'm kidding.
Exclusive
content.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
How to pick the right woman based on cereal intake.
Don't get me wrong.
They will make that a thing.
I won't say no. I am not judging a woman's character based on cereal consumption. I'm judging her taste buds. But continue.
I'm just saying I don't miss. That's all. That's it. I'm just saying I don't miss. I'm not.
This man here.
Could I ask a question?
Of course.
At the brown table.
Have you? Because I want it to be for everyone in the group. So, have you ever been dumped for being a nice guy or a too nice guy? Or have you ever dumped someone for being a too nice guy or girl? Either one.
And my answer to that would be no, but I feel like at the same time there were some aspects where me maybe dialing it back or maybe not showing as much, because me cutting the situation off entirely could have saved me from being frustrated or maybe being in my feelings. Because I remember this it was basically like, it started off good. It was a smooth ride on the train, but then it started wobbling off the rails at some point.
It's very dangerous.
Why you laughing?
I don't know why. I saw him over there. I was like, he's definitely laughing.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm just like, how wobbly is the train?
Well, I know, but James, I know you know. I told you the situation. I told you the situation. I feel like I still need to explain that situation better. But there was an instance where me and this girl's in an argument, and she got so frustrated at the point where she yelled at me and said, "You're not I don't have to tell you And in
Fill
my
in the blank,
and
Kanan.
pretty much.
Clarify, you didn't know what was said. This was said. Continue.
But yeah, and I stayed arguing with her. But then when I really went back to it and I went to other people just to get their, like, to have them check me or whether, like, what could I have done differently. I remember I told my dad, he said, why did you stay on the phone? And another person said, I know why you stayed on the phone, because you really cared about her and you wanted things to work. But now looking at it, and I want the viewers to ask, like, tell me whether that was too nice to stay on the phone when someone responds to you like,
No, I'm not gonna ask you that.
actually, yeah, never mind,
Not
scrap
gonna
that.
I bet comments saying, "Oh, this man's nah."
But yeah, now looking at it, it's just like, that was also another example of having self-respect. At that point, I didn't take it as her being more disrespectful. I took it more as her being angry at the situation. But I feel like me feeling like my self-respect or my image or character was attacked, I feel like I would have removed myself from that instance, and it would save me a lot of time.
I think that's, me personally, I don't know the complete scenario and like what the past you shared with this person, but I think that's a really up to reflection, up to evaluation, right? Because we can talk about self-respect, but honestly, I feel like unless someone knows the explicit content of the scenario, as well as you as well, there may be something for discretion. From that, I know the past y'all had, you stayed on the phone because you genuinely cared, or do you respect yourself? I don't think so. You respect yourself personally, just from knowing you. However, then again, I don't think I knew you at that time. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's just too, I guess, there's too many ambiguous things that I don't know. There's too much ambiguity for me to say confidently, oh, you too nice, or hey.
Yeah.
I've been in that
genuinely care.
situation before though, where it's like I not watch, but I listened to someone. Well, maybe it's a little different because they were actually disrespecting me, and it's like I just put myself on mute and I let them talk and get out how they were feeling, and literally they were like, "Come downstairs," and 10 minutes later I went downstairs. So.
Yeah, I never had one of these conversations like this before in my life. Honestly, I have someone try to have an argument with me, and well, they literally argued themselves because I was not there. So I don't know how it went.
I went to make some hot pockets.
Honestly, I probably made a chopped cheese. Honestly,
I'm definitely a
yeah, honestly.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no. Today, no.
Especially,
That
I
was
think,
like 6
especially
years
coming
ago.
from like, I'm really sensitive to like men, like being
Like aggression.
aggressive with me, because
Same.
like I have like one brother, and like growing up, he's older than me. We like didn't play fight. He didn't yell at us. We didn't yell at him. Even like there was just a certain language of respect that we just had in my household. So I'm very sensitive to like, and then like the bass, like it'd be a lot. You know what I mean?
That's crazy because I'm sensitive for the opposite reason.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
For the like her with her brothers, like they had a certain respect level in their household. There was no respect level in my household. So it was like
Yeah.
bullying, scream, dad, all that.
But it's like, okay, of course we get upset with each other, but it only could go to a certain level.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
I mean,
That
honestly,
whole,
yeah.
I don't feel like you have to grow up in a household like that to have that experience, but
Right.
it's just no.
It depends on the person.
I was just taught not to even disrespect me. Like literally, when I'm here showing out on an argument is when it's based on the argument. If we're talking about something topic,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Rich, you gaslight me, or Rich, you didn't hear me out, or Rich, you didn't listen, or Rich, you didn't express this, and it's like, okay, I'm like, before I even say anything, why are you saying this? Let me hear you out. That's not how my conversations go. I had like one time, I think someone was like yelling at me, cursing me out, and I swear it was not in there for more than 10 seconds. Once it progressed to that point, I was like,
Yeah.
and then she's like, oh, you give me so frustrated because you're always right. I was like, whoa, what? It's not making sense. You have an issue with me, but I digress. Like, it was hilarious, honestly. Only two, I don't take things seriously when it comes to like arguing.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
do.
just like if you're
I
cursing,
do.
Like
I don't.
You
yeah.
gonna hear me.
if you curse at me,
Hear me laugh.
like if you curse at me, like saying all these slurs,
You're not letting me talk, and
things,
this is
and you're
just
trying to hurt my feelings, you're not hurting my feelings. That's one, because I then know that there's no reason with you, and two, it's kind of funny you think this. You gotta go this far just to belittle my character.
Word.
I don't like arguing.
Yeah, I just don't do it.
The first second I feel like you're not hearing me, I'm hanging up. Like that's like.
And I feel like there's been times, and I have a
cool.
lot of respect for this person, where like we were reasonably upset about something, and it was very much all right, let's just get off the phone and talk about this later. Like
that too.
we can literally talk about this later. We
Yeah.
can literally get off
Right.
the phone and be in our own space. Because the one thing about me, I like being by myself. So if someone is, that's another thing too. Because I feel like arguing and negativity and things like that is an optional activity for me. to
That's what I'm
participate in.
saying. Like,
So why would you could just disappear.
Right.
And I could disappear.
like,
You know what I'm saying?
if the premise is that I want to be with you, why would it even reach that point?
Literally. I would say, don't you know the reality TV shows when like everybody start fighting and that person get up? That's me. Because I
Facts.
literally don't gotta do this.
One thing about me, I'm gonna leave.
Quickly.
I'm gonna leave. Can y'all answer the question though?
Wait, what was it?
Oh no, my just now.
Oh,
Next brings it. I
Don't
have been called too nice. That person did have no respect for themselves, and also was very hurt by a lot of people.
Have you ever been called a simp? No, only because it was brought up before.
Very much so.
Yes, I've been called a simp.
Interesting.
I'm
About
not a
7
simp.
times today. You didn't know about it.
Yikers.
Wait, do you mean like a simp? It's like the actual simp, like what we described here, or like a joke simp?
Depends on how you take it. But continue.
Moving on though, it's funny because I don't think I was never broken up with because I was like too nice or anything. But I do know for a fact, like when I was in high school, I say like first 3 years, well, exclude the summer, but first 3 years of during the school session.
Oh yeah, some was, you know. Yeah.
Yo. I was like, is that really that worthy?
It was too far.
I didn't even want to dab you. I didn't know the context.
Anywho,
Wait, summer's in like the last summer when you graduated, or summer in between those?
look. Anyway,
Okay.
during the school semester, right, I know for a fact that like I had absolutely zero backbone, anything like that. I honestly, I mean, I barely had enough resources overall, but man, I knew for a fact they really wanted some of like the very little I had. Here, if I only have one bag of chips, oh, the bag is yours. And look, it was not fruitful at all. However, upon, self-reflecting as an adult, and like having some self-respect, saying like, yo, at the end of the day, you could be extremely attractive, but like, I'm not gonna cross certain boundaries. Kind of like how I'm sure you was talking about before about certain lines that you're just not gonna cross, right? And once I was able to like establish that and be like, all right, look, it is what it is. Like, yo, if we happen to like each other at the same time, I bet that's valid. If not, technically that's kind of also valid. Like, I'm not gonna die. I can still go home and eat my barbecue chicken, as I love to.
That sounds good. Right
I know,
now.
right?
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
doing some after this.
I was thinking.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, and that was exponentially more fruitful. I could argue a bit too fruitful, but the point is,
And that's the irony of it. I find it funny because me and Jimmy enter a lot of spaces together, so I won't speak on our behalf. But I find it funny. I don't want to use the word nice, but we are respectful and help people with no expectations. I swear, it's like
It's a swarm, huh?
just be flooded.
I was correct.
And I'm just like, no, thank you. I find that
I just came here to do my
kinda
civic duty,
ironic.
y'all.
Yeah, like I'm just genuinely, I find it ironic. You would think that but
It come again.
saying I don't insist. No, I do insist. Whoa, chill.
Let's not insist here.
Let's not.
But no, I was fine. But I've definitely seen like, yeah, I think when it comes to like the whole too nice thing, it's not that typically, like at least from like the experience I've heard from men, because they're typically the ones who talk about this, at least in this light. Actually, no, I don't think about even women too. Like, it's never about being too nice within the realms of a relationship. It's the fact that they're never taken seriously into a relationship because they're considered too nice, right? Like many times there'll be like, women who will be like, oh, let's just like give like sexual access or something like that because they kind of like want to live with the guy, but the guy totally just tries to take advantage of that, but will intentionally not, go a certain step with her, right? And then like many times like with guys I've heard about, it's just like, oh yeah, it's not the fact that, with basically like, they're never taken seriously as a, non-platonic partner to even get to the, of a relationship will be, and they just kind of get like used at that level of like friendship and stuff like that.
I thought we should talk about like how, like the whole thing with the dog, like that trope being used. It was like, oh, I need me a dog who's who has a gun and other stuff, and it's like
I don't like all the drilling
drugs.
and killing and the.
I mean,
It's
I
like,
don't know why, but the word thug,
I'm sorry, I don't know the word.
Would you rather him say
To be-
hood?
I mean,
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
typically, I mean, if we're being honest, hood is just typically received better. But like,
Yeah.
honestly, I noticed a lot of
Doug
men.
sounds like a dog whistle. Like,
I didn't know the phrase that is what you call it. What do you phrase? That's typically montage.
Yeah, I understand. And I think it's funny because a lot of people,
I got
I've seen so many nice guys go to like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Clubhouse, where they're starting their villain arcs and being like, oh, well, she rejected me, but now she was some hood dude, so I'm Bobby Hood. It's just like,
That's how they
but,
sound.
that's actually not what they sound like.
yeah, they don't do. They sound more childlike.
She rejected me. Why? No.
And like,
That gave very much Timmy Turner.
pretty much. And then and so it's like, damn, what we talking about? I blanked.
Well, I didn't answer the question.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you go.
Sorry. Wow.
It's okay. I just wanted to take my moment. The answer is no. The closest thing would be that situation that they weren't dumped, but like this is before I realized like, wait, they were like crossing the boundary the whole time. I said like, I love you and I respect you a lot and I really enjoy spending time with you, but he was still trying to do certain things, and it wasn't that I wouldn't have dated him. It's just that I just didn't want to date anybody at the time. I was just vibing, by myself. So I was just vibing by myself. So yeah.
Okay. Is that relating to my question?
No,
Yeah.
you said like,
Yeah.
have you ever done something for me too nice? And it was like, we were just friends, but I said like, yeah, we just gotta chill out a bit.
Yeah.
You're not respecting yourself, so I gotta help you out.
Yeah.
But just lastly on the hood thing, and then we could wrap it up real quick. But yeah, so it's just like I feel like a lot of times when they're trying to start their villain arcs, they'd be like, oh well, I was rejected when I was nice, but they kind of like this hood dude. Well, you just like abusive things. It's like high key. It wasn't even like about the specific fact that they were a hood or they were gangbang. Because I've never seen nobody that actually say, yo, I want to gangbang or anything like that. It's just that there's just a common certain traits such as like let's say decisiveness, proper assertiveness, and stuff like that are valued by some women, which is
Or
technically
their
the
views
opposite.
Of masculinity.
Yeah.
I feel like
Exactly.
They see like, oh, he's real.
Exactly, and that
and
part,
toughness
and those things are valued, especially because let's say like
Also protection.
I was just about to say like, when
Yes.
they want to feel secure
They
about.
can give
Exactly, because
money
look,
and
let's be
yeah.
honest.
Provision.
I don't feel secure because I have a doormat at my door. If I see people outside with guns, I'm not gonna say, well, I have that welcome doormat at the door. I think we're good.
Like
we're not saying that. We're not, so it's just like that. I feel like a lot of people, they completely like, misunderstand. They try to make a whole different thing. But I think that's like probably the important part. But basically, just as a closer, right? So it's just like, to be on the same page, right? Y'all think that like, let's say like these nice guys, whether they are the genuine ones who might be able to like, take advantage of whatever it may be, or the self-proclaimed ones, right? Do you think that like if they kind of had that, that boundary that we were talking about before about, a certain level of self-respect, and that at least making sure that, they have enough backbone so that they're not being trampled, they're not being, walked on, and they're not being used and all that stuff. Do you think like that could like change the perception of how people view, nice guys or even just nice guys?
I think it does. I also think that is also dependent upon the receivers as well. For example,
Yeah.
I saw something funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
She looked at you.
No.
That's all I saw. You looked at him and you started laughing.
But yeah, how like the audience of the perceptors, of, the receivers. I don't know the word here, but you understand the point.
Yeah.
And how the tropes that they spread. For example, it's like, okay, of course, if men are more respecting and being genuinely nice and not being too nice and with having an ulterior motive, I feel like they'll reap more rewards. As well as the women, in this case, because they're women, receiving, if they stop saying someone is too nice for, I don't know, walking them down the street. Oh my God, you're too nice, da da da. And it's like, just trying to make sure you're safe. I'm not trying to say I want anything from you, but like just trying to be safe. Also, it's like, or you saying you're hungry, you don't got it right now. I got it, don't worry about it. If it's like a $5, like no one's really panicking over $5.
People do be.
You'd be surprised. Look, all I'm saying is,
No.
let somebody pay $5.
I feel like nowadays delis, what are you getting for $5? Some prices is up.
Chips.
It's sad.
Who's gonna go to a deli?
Itself is
Well-
$5.
No, literally, the
Well,
prices are.
Unless
not
you get
what
a
they-
2 for
I could be
$4.
going to
It's
that.
not what
Alright.
it used to be.
Don't have that no more.
$10, $20, a lunch meal. A lunch meal that ain't hurting no one.
Needless to say, it's appreciated when somebody buys something for you, but it's just sad that you can't get a whole meal for $5 anymore.
Facts. And it's like, and it's like someone's genuinely like, yo, it's like, I'm doing this, cool. And then the woman's like, oh my God, he's too nice. And it's like, did he win it from you? No, he didn't win it from me. Did he actually remember? No. Did he do anything? No, he's just too nice. I'm just like,
Yeah, that's important. Like the language.
We need to
because-
establish the bare minimum and understand what too nice really entails, so that we can, one, perpetuate a better rhetoric and a better idiom that could be what's the word? Expressed and replicated. And then also you have to change the people, what they're talking about, and really evaluate. Okay, am I being too nice? No, that's self-respect. I'm being a genuine good person. So it's like, because unfortunately there's a lot of doodle heads on both sides. No matter what gender, there's a lot of doodle heads. But specifically within this topic, right? We're talking about. Is there what you're talking about? Sorry.
No.
It seemed like you
Was
just
it
say
just a casual
Was it casual or like
or was it a leading
I mean, I was thinking it. I had a little in my head, but
I was talking about just in general, not talking about this topic. And I was gonna bring you back to this topic.
no, that's not what we meant. But continue.
What you mean?
No,
Let's just
I want you to
finish.
finish.
I'm worried to hear.
Yeah, she wants to
I lost
just
my
finish
train of
it.
thought and I'm confused, but
Well,
you know,
Wait, you
Well,
were
let-
talking about.
Train it back.
I got it. I'm training back. So
Allow this to remind you where we were.
yeah. So long story short, yes, I genuinely feel like that's more self-respect and not having ulterior motives, and also understand that hey, no one's saying, no, you're not saying, but genuinely understand the potential risk of you conveying your feelings or showing some kind of interest can endanger a woman to not have a return response. Also to let her respond however she wants to respond, right? If it's not outright disrespectful, where it's like completely out of bounds, respect her decision and on to the next.
Word.
And also a respectful manner that isn't derogatory. I feel like genuinely it'll be better. You have more fruitful experiences.
And we like fruits. Like mangoes.
Like mangoes and grapes.
I like
Um,
bananas and kiwis.
Strawberries.
Keep it. Anywho, the only thing that I would really mention for the guys out there, just because you may be perceived as nice or too nice does not mean that you don't have a certain level of self-respect for yourself. Just understand that there are women out there who just have not had the experiences that you are giving them right now. So to them, they may be used to the more hood type, the more nonchalant or lack of respect. So the amount of respect that you are giving them, the amount of choices you are giving them, or overall just being nice, they're not used to. So to them, it's like, well, that's a little nice. That's a little too nice. But that's just like them recollecting with that experience. So don't think it's just all negative anytime you're doing something nice and you hear that. Just understand, like, you can always ask, like, okay, you mentioned I'm too nice. What do you mean by that? You know, or something like that. Like, it's all more so of a level of understanding.
And that's true. Just making sure you understand yourself and why you're making these actions, because like at the end of the day, you have to be the judge of whether you feel like you're overextending or not.
Yeah.
Because that becomes a huge.
And also, have people within the circle accepting.
Having good friends. Oh, wait, I'm not sure. Were you going there?
I was saying, like, having people who are, with acumen to tell you.
Yeah. Whether you're overextending, because a lot of times people be like, oh, I'm I took it. I did the whole shift for the without the pay, but that was a lot. I was just like, that was a lot.
Like, just be able to reevaluate your actions from time to time. Like, everything is not just, it's not being too nice just because it was said. It's just to them. That's what it is.
How they receive it.
Yeah, that's just how they receive it.
And Justin, our special guest.
The last thing I'm gonna say really is make yourself the first priority, and also work on improving yourself every day. Because I feel like a lot of people don't try to protect their peace or be healthy in their peace. And the reason I say that is because a lot of guys and girls have tunnel vision. Guys or women have tunnel vision. And they'll want something, but then they'll strive out and insist on trying to get it. But when they don't get it, it kind of comes at their ego. So I want everyone to really think about you wanting something, but at the same time saying at the end of the day, I can live without it.
Exactly. That it doesn't define them. What a word to end on. Our special guest, Justin. Oh, man.
But yeah, big shout out, Justin, for pulling up.
Thank you so much.
Big shout out.
I enjoyed it.
Yo, we know.
Definitely gonna see me again.
Oh, say
less.
He
we
said
love a
part two.
recurring guest.
Word.
And yeah, I think we gonna.
The round of applause. That's what you were looking for?
I couldn't find it fast enough.
That's facts.
Gotta be quicker than that.
Nah, that's facts. But yeah, thanks for pulling up, Justin.
Word.
We on that
Good to
note,
be here.
it was a great talk today.
Word.
Can't wait
This is nice.
Thanks.
like, comment, subscribe.
First of
Let us know
all,
your.
you thank everyone here. Thank you guys for tuning in. First of all,
You gotta love the support.
like,
Big facts. Big facts.
I rock with y'all.
We rock with y'all.
We rock with y'all.
We-
It was
'cause
a
we-
little
'cause he's a
iffy. No, we rock with y'all. We really do. Thank you for tuning in.
Word.
For tuning in.
Yo, and let us know your thoughts, yo. Like, let us know what y'all think on the topic.
Specific
If
on
you
the
have
thoughts.
thoughts.
Hashtag don't be doodle head. Hashtag share your thoughts.
I like that.
And yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.